Welcome to My on Mondays, an explorative approach to the possessive my through narratives, art, and sound. Each Monday brings a new creation and unique perspective. My on Mondays is brought to you by MING Studios, a contemporary art space and international artist residency program dedicated to the exhibition, experience, and exploration of arts and culture. Along with exhibiting artists from around the world, MING also serves the community by hosting innovative programs including performances, workshops, screenings, readings, artist talks, and other cultural activities. For more information, or if you'd like to participate in My on Mondays, you can visit our website at mingstudios.org. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us. Today, for our 9th episode, we feature a piece by poet and musician Dzevad Vrabac. Dzevad was born and raised in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina, former Yugoslavia. He holds a Bachelor of Arts from Boise State University and an MFA from St. Mary's College of California. He's lived and worked in Boise, Idaho since 1998. His piece is titled My Mondays in Sarajevo and chronicles his life as a teenager during the war.
My Mondays in Sarajevo. Prelude. Poetry is like a parachute fall from a pencil to a blank sheet. One doesn't learn it, one narrates a way into the map. Gravity's on your side when you're leaping. I pull the earth upwards magnified. Mountains and valleys and rivers and lakes. Ocean you hear in the hair foaming as if seeing a drawing lit by torches. And your eyes blinking set the wheels. Summer's here, dry as a polished paper, rough, rude and hot. The sun beats on my back curved. Noble wood and strings as an instrument. It owns the world like you own the tree under which I landed, tuned and tangled up in the guts, and lived through to tell a lay like in the ancient days. Exposition. It was the year of monkey. The previous year's seasons dragged like brides gone. The wild summer to domestic fall, the pale winter to the edge of dawn. To the edge of spring in the month of Mars, the god of war, water dropped and the wedding member got shot. And the fire swallowed the library and the trees around it. We had tried to attack it twice and defend the ramparts with utensils and homemade devices. Full siege was completed by the summer. In a sleep, cremated, peace packed up and took an exit. An old age scared Achilles, and everyone's heart was broken blue. We understood a little. The pain we felt was a poem-like. Coyotes howled, and tigers and giraffes wandered at the zoo. Now the front line and the north part of the city gates. In the bronze shields, t-shirts and all-star shoes, we called on our lost ones. Like a soldier calls on a comrade in the war, listening with his feet to what creeps out of the smoky forest. Fire burned high, and the far-away sea was indifferent to my holding the tags. The days I remember, and I cry by the river like a boy who gave up a girl. I pluck nylon strings and sing an old Balkan myth about a wolf turned into a dog for the love of warmth and food. My Mondays in Sarajevo. I wake into another day, like when you come up upon the car and you think it's yours, but it isn't. Like any other Monday, pigeons flap above the roofs. Dimmed explosions outside my room, yet my mom keeps a calendar on the kitchen wall. Photographs of the Adriatic blue sea throughout the year. There's more than Bee Mountain in between us now. There's war and under the siege wrapped Sarajevo, only 20 kilometers long. A ghetto without electricity and running water. Breakfast is the war cheese. You need 4 bowls of water, 1 cup of oil, 4 cups of milk in powder, 1 little spoon of salt, 1 spoon of yeast, and you mix all that up and wait for the cheese to form. And then a piece of bread and thin sliced ochre butter split on 3 members on a family. The 4th member at the west gate eats solo macaroni, TV in the living room mute. Monitors are shadows across the living room, like camera obscura projecting inversely, like those dolls in the vitrine with broken glass door. Instead, a couch is pent up against the wall for stray bullets, and a lot of pillows stuffed with wool nailed on the walls. Protection against shrapnel and gossip, says my grandma. Freedom used to live here, but the airport was captured. Airways shut down with heavy bombing and sniper fire. Getting tight in the city, packed with not much belt to ease up. We are squeezed and our minds are stretched. The cruelest month brings the rain. But it didn't save the library the old dame burnt in the night, like the one in Alexandria, not for the first time in history. Those throwing the light matches laughed above on the hills, firing their artillery, like that night in Berlin at the Opera Square when Nazis burned books and the authors had to witness the feast. So we too feel the heat of flames. Few days later, our well-known writer recited a poem at the radio, Inferno 92. I go down among houses and buildings to the bakery. To fetch bread, my secret pads by Beg's mask. I hide from sniper in a 20mm anti-artillery gun. It's raining heavily in spring, Mount B melting, M river swollen, and an old Yugoslav refrigerator decomposing. Some people washing their laundry on the left bank of the river. Dead blue skin floats, streets starved, and light poles like tree trunks, blocking the road across the Princip Bridge. On a sidewalk, I step in his shoes, prints pressed in the concrete almost a century ago. It was on the Sunday in the year of Tiger. From the spot he shot and killed the Archduke in Sofia as a collateral damage. In the courtroom he confessed. Gavrilo was 19 and few years later expired in a prison cell, dying before the empire croaked. I'm 16, in the city under the siege in crumbling Yugoslavia. I saw Lord Owen up close and personal, yet I had no desire to kill him. I had no desire to start another world war. Like in the song, oceans rise and nations fall. Like in the blues number, schizo spring passing by my cell's window. At mid-evening I hear a melody, a redemption to regain the sweetest freedom. I too sing quietly. Goodbye, dear Miss April. I can imagine in warm sunlight roaming streets and cafes and confectionaries. Roses blooming in that distant city. Not here, in a labyrinth of stoned routine without my June, waiting for the end of cage days. Nights flicker, in my dreams I make up for the lack of life. Tuesday's gone with the wind. As a boy, I watched a cartoon with my sister, the Smurfs. Now UN soldiers run around the city in small groups. In their blue hats, they run around the city. We all run, mostly we hide. War overtakes the year of rooster. The time abscond with a smile with its pale hand in the left pocket. Like frost gets inside a cracked glass window, taped to stand detonations. Most of our window panes are nylon bags stretched with the UN logo on them. Like ticks in the pillow, like a big toe in a wet shoe, a pink worm with a white nail, soft, war is like a stain, like psoriasis, a chronic skin condition with silver flakes frosted like sugar. It means bad liver. Freedom is not here. Like when you reach in your pocket for that silver lighter, flames in the moment. Freedom is not to be thought. Freedom is not satiation. Women don't live by bread alone, they need the cheese as well. Like, look at the abyss. Freedom is something we can't tell ourselves these days. Freedom is a tale like there once was an ancient city of Athens under the siege. Freedom is a honey dip, but the bees are no longer with us. We are left to ourselves. There are no butterflies. We don't fear dying, but we fear of being forgotten. It's so quiet here. Sometimes in the light of August, hills around the valley blinking with thousands of dreams. Windows flickering like when the UN transporter lights up in my window at the city's exit. The center of the last Yugoslavia, they are the Paris peace talks, says the radio. Words, words, words. The other always proves yourself, and your eyes need to desire. In a mirror, reflection is backwards. I loved to run as a boy of 9 under the blasting reflectors. At the stadium, I scored my first goal, a la Nico style. This Wednesday, by the old cathedral, I helped Miss Marta carry her bags. I don't know, she says, where is this leading to? Those fascists on the hills above the city, this pain in my feet, my forgetfulness. Bože, she sighs, looking up at the blue sky. At home I made some pate, you may have some. Sarajevan pate. You need 7 spoons of oil and 7 spoons of flour. It needs to be sautéed, and then you add the canned fish and 1/4 liter of water and stirring on easy fire. Then you add some veggies depending on your groceries, and at the end you add some vinegar. I answered to her politely, there's no school, words don't suffice. The shell shock mutes my teachers. In a corner, dictionaries in a stack collecting stories. I often climb upon them to peek through the front window to see who goes by my front door. I'm bored. A funeral coach passes by with the first dark. We can bury our dead only under the cover of night. The coffin brown like espresso beans. Like in a garage we gather around the body. There hasn't been coffee in the city for a while. On the day when the aggressor heavenly bombs the city, the bleak sun lands on the patched roofs like lead. We hide in the basement and listen to the radio news. There's no electricity and water's scarce. At times we, my mom, sister and I, wake an early dawn to go and stand in the line at the city's pump to fill blue canisters. An old man tells me the shell was invented by General Henry Shrapnel, the British soldier, and it was named after him during the Great War. My mom catches rain for the toilet and for laundry. I bathe once per week, and I enjoy it. And she's there too, in all-star shoes, taping and tapping, in a light blue summer dress, hand-stitched by her mom. We are in sync, everyone knows. I hold her hand in anxiety, cruelty of war, and teenage sexuality. She smells like rain, and her hair electrified in the storm-muffled night, the bombing on the other side of the unreal city. Detonations got to her glass heart, and mine is scared. Evacuation convoy took her to Italia. UN resolution by Boutros Ghali. Save the children of Sarajevo. Some rock star sings to a full stadium. Talk to you soon, she promises, waving through a window of the bus. By pedaling my bike and creating electricity, I tune into radio, searching stations and listening to news. All I hear is static. There are shells falling like hammers in the city. They crack the cradles and shatter babies' teeth. We crumble like overbaked cookies and lock the milk for our dusty bones, scared to be outside like nails leveled in the concrete. But we resurrect each day. Behind the curtain's divided stage, the city split in two. Down the shallow river floats an umbrella, and a hand and a dog's jaw swimming across. The rest of the body, like a bubble, comes up and dives in. I'm tired, vegetarian by circumstances thin. My mom makes the war pizza. You need 200 grams of flour, 2 spoons of yeast, 1/2 spoon of salt, 1/2 spoon of sugar if you have any, but the sugar isn't necessary, 2 spoons of oil, 1/2 spoon of milk in powder. After, you may add a tomato sauce or a spoon of grounded red pepper with a little water. All of that is mixed and it's baked in the improvised bomber. As a topping, I prefer the canned fish in the red sauce when available, one of the tastiest selections by the UN donations. I feel like I lost something. Now is not a good time. I often wonder who is next. The winter of 1904, Thursday stands for Thor, god of thunder. He aims as he pleases from the top of the Olympic peak. Like in the game of ping-pong balls and cups of beer, cannonballs land on the roofs and through windows. Today, one landed at Piazza. CNN calls the Markale massacre. My neighbor is one of the many dead. By 5 mortal shells landed at the marketplace. We can hear his wife cry at night. My grandma says the year of dog is an evil one. She sends me to fetch the tea for nerves to calm down the widow. I walk by the military garrison, Marshal Tito. A woman walking towards me dressed as a dame with a blue hat on, like in a Monet's painting, singing out loud an old song and holding to the fence. Teško meni jadnoj u Sarajevu samoj. Hajde jadna, deder jadna, hajde jadna, deder jadna. I spit at the intersection by the World Museum. I used to go there with my friends. With my t-shirt off, I would sit in the ancient Bosnian king's chair, the one carved out of rock, and try to read an 11th century script, nailed on the flat limestone. Now I cross the main street intersection and hide behind a tramway that carried the whole world in the winter of '84 during the 14th Olympic Games. Invented in the ancient Greece, the town of Olympia almost 3,000 years ago. Now the tram's destroyed in the rail tracks, its body twisted petals like ink stains in the concrete. I sit in the back, nostalgic for a ride. It smells of rust. Dring, dring, I make the sound. The Sarajevo tramway, operated by horses, opened on New Year's Day in 1885. as a testing for the tram in the capital of the empire, Vienna. The last New Year's I spent with my sister, my two cousins, and a few friends. We sang songs and drank some sour beer. We stayed up into the wee hours, our light and IV inserted in the hose, the one providing us with the gas to burn in our old bombers. Today, after a stormy day, I pluck my guitar and feel my hands warming. The strings are tuned, no buzzing. In open G, sounds are blue. To myself they speak of freedom. It exists somewhere, over the ramparts and via the airport. Perhaps over the pound a poet writes lines to us. She sings over the rocks all the way from the East Bay and prays for the children of Sarajevo. I rise like a rolling stone in the Blitzkrieg hurricane. We don't surrender, we fight, but we want peace. Art of song, says my uncle, a teacher of music. It means like in fado and in sevdah and in blues. It means love and more than a love song. It's an antique story for us, the South Slavs. Duende means deep is the soul, deeper it suffers. And I am singing most of the nights out of fear, but now I sing brave. We are encircled, our memory has a belt of corpses. I ran to a community center, now a military command. Ping pong is played there. In the basement, some people play chess and cards. My grandpa comes in for shelter. The other national sport is held by a clamp. 2 stadiums, both are currently cemeteries. My aunt is buried there at a goalie space, an offside, a yellow card, we joke at times. In tears we laugh, red-faced by the lamp. Her son, a few years older than me, is at the gate. Just a few years ago I was at the stadium with my dad watching a game. Under the reflectors my team played. I wore my blue jersey with an 11 on its back. And at the World Cup of 1990, I cried. Argentines put us out on penalties. I alone often wonder, where are you at home, sweet cradle of my birth? Hiding forever, I'm stuck in blue, destined to chase you, an illusion, a dream in the steam of a winter's breath. You're forever withdrawing from my glances. Just to hold you but for an instant would last me a lifetime. But a phantom you are, home. Just across the street by synagogue, there's a first aid station. On Saturdays, I'm prone to gazing at a nurse as she works on a patient. The sun went behind a cloud, dark and angry cloud. Cold wind blows all the way up high from the slopes like a landslide covers the city. The day goes by. At the first blue dark with a prayer call, I bump into a group of boys, drinking spirits and smoking grass, thumping their skulls and singing a hymn to Dionysus. I had a beer a month ago. The old brewery still works at night. My dad spent few days at home and got few liters. Sour Pilsner gave me a buzz, a smile, and a nap and a dream. The sky's purple around 6 p.m. early February. It feels like an early spring. She must be wearing her shawl. The tallest building sticking out shining lights on the top, a la Romanesque architecture. It reminds of minarets. Somewhere in Europe the sky turns purple in the autumn, ripe and blue. Io running from the bull, her dress lit up by lantern. Up the hill above the center, to the north side, by Orthodox church, a cop says to me, "Bearded boy," to enforce rain dripping down of his blue hat's brim. digging dents like shrapnel in the asphalt. I trot like Bosnian pony, and just before the curfew, 10 p.m. on a Sunday in the year of pig, I made it to my house. My mom boiled a soup, the steam mixed with the smell of clothes. At the kitchen's table domestic, we sit and we slurp. Vanilla cream napkins, moist spoons. I got a lunch pocket from a soldier. My sister loves packages of jam. USA is the only country who dares to fly over Bosnia and Herzegovina and delivers packages of food. We call them gifts from heaven. We are at the point of starving from hunger. Nothing is coming in and out of the city, and all food reserves are gone. Lunch pocket number 6. Chicken a la king, pasta in tomato sauce, yellow rice, biscuits, 2 packs, vegetable crackers, 2 packs, peanut butter, strawberry jam, fruit bar, fruit pastry, 2 packs, shortbread, accessory pack, book of matches unprinted, salt, pepper and sugar packets, Tabasco sauce, alcohol-free napkins, paper napkins, plastic spoon. After I listened to on a battery powdered radio Free Europe. All across the Atlantic, some American Senator Joe Biden is taking sides. He's our friend since my grandfather. I pluck my acoustic nylon strings. I think of my dad at the city's west gate, echoes of the gunfire spreading in the night. My mom sighs and blows out a handmade candle, pigeons cooing on a narrow ledge as I utter a prayer to Apollo. Burn, you great star, and give an energy to my heart. Give me the strength to win this war against bad omens in the bones. Let me live and I'll worship you every day. I'll sit and roll a spliff and smoke it and gaze at you as one gazes at a lover without envy. Let me rather piss the stones and spit blood. Cover me with a blue rag, but let me live. Let me live. Let me live. Amen.
We're so glad you joined us today. Please join us next week for a piece by writer, artist, and activist Daniel Drennan El Awar.